Hello, folks. Welcome to the Community Curation podcast. I am your host, the Gothic Storyteller, and today's guest, via phone, we got my buddy Cody Dowell and everything. How are you doing, man?
Not too bad.
By the release of this episode, folks, me and Cody were actually just recently talking about guests for the Houston Horror Film Festival. When this episode drops, I will be going there, and hopefully, you'll meet Cody too, if he's there. Cody is like a walking, what do you call it, like parade float sometimes. Like children came up to you when we were at the brewery, I think last year, and like gave you like treats and everything. Like, oh my god, you did like such an awesome Jason, like, here, have a treat. So you're kind of become now a bit of a parade float now.
Yeah, I've been going there pretty much since the beginning. So, like, the owners, they kind of know me by name, and like a lot of the regular people, yeah, they even some of the vendors recognize me now. It's crazy.
um what was it? Are you going to the recent one? I think it's supposed to be July 11th, or I think it's the weekend in July 11th. They're having one at the same brewery and everything. I don't know who all's going to be there, but um it's supposed to be
I don't know
like
about that.
I think it's supposed to be like a I think it's supposed to be contributing to like an art exhibit for like other like horror artists and everything.
That Insomnia Gallery thing?
Yes, yes, that one.
Yeah, my friend works there actually.
Oh, sweet. So, you know,
Uh, I might try to go because she invited me, but I'm like, it's such a fucking drive for me where I'm at.
gotcha and everything, and
Parking sucks.
yeah. I remember, like, I think we had to sit there and we had to drive, like, not really a block, but we had to drive quite a bit down just to sit there and park and everything, and then like go like walk right back. Like, they didn't even have parking, but I always have fun sitting there and hitting those little brewery stands and everything. And you good?
Yeah, I remember that sucked.
Of course, and everything. Folks, we're gonna have a very short episode here for today and everything. I have a feeling, it's post 4th of July. Now it's officially spooky season all the way from here to to Halloween itself. It's all like, so, whip out your horror movies if you haven't already. Most of us like do that 24/7 all year
Guilt.
round. Yeah, and everything. Bring out your Halloween decorations. It's time to decorate. The pumpkins may not be ripe enough, but you can still carve a watermelon like a jack-o'-lantern. We're gonna be tackling one of the very first films, which is actually one of my favorites, even though sometimes I forget what shorts are technically in this film. But George A. Romero's Creepshow. Why did you pick Creepshow?
Oh, excuse me.
They're good.
So I I feel like most of the movies on this list I picked, it could be kind of set for any one of us when we were younger. I remember just seeing it on the TV, like throughout my young life. And one of my earliest memories was when I went out fishing with my dad, Gramps, on the lake, and they had the trailer with the TV, and sure enough, boom, Creepshow was on. I was like, I've always been drawn to that movie.
And you didn't even pick the second one. You tell that story. You didn't even pick the second one, which actually has the muck monster. Which is the only reason I think part two is even good is the raft story.
I saw part two very late, and I remember not being the biggest fan of it.
Yeah,
It was just it was missing like that red blue light effect.
yeah. They kind of dropped a bit of that comic vibe to, like they had it as like the interchangeable, because you had like the animated, um what was his name? Was it like Guado or something like that? They had a name for the creeper. Uh
Oh, oh, what the hell did Tom name him?
yeah, it's a very like casual name, but he had a name for it. But in the second one, they more so they did a lot of animation with him than they did in the first one. What was that?
That's Tom Savini in that makeup in the second movie. That's the creep.
Yeah, and everything. It was a mix of practical with animation.
But all right, but yeah, like the more I watch the second one, I like it more, but it's not as good as the first one.
Yeah. Uh, you have Father's Day, which is an iconic for one. That's an iconic EC comic, and Cody told me and everything that that was shot for shot, like as the panels went through.
Yeah, you can
And
kind of almost damn near along with the comic and have the movie on the background.
yeah, and it kind of makes you wonder, like maybe that was also like a selling point, was maybe there were some of these comics that I guess like the way how their story told, those panels told it so well that it's like don't deviate, don't try to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. Was there a specific story in Creepshow that you enjoyed?
This is mine and my dad's favorite, The Crate.
With Adrian Barbeau and Hal Holbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that ape creature thing, whatever that they named Fluffy.
Mm-hmm. It's still some of the
Like,
best practical.
yeah, especially when he eats the second dude, where he takes a bite around his thing, you just see it just.
Yeah. There's I know I've seen from the David Letterman show, because you can find him online, where Savini is showing off all of his little props, and like it's just how fluid. Like I don't know how far away it was from the production of Creepshow with how well he took care of Fluffy, but like it was just to the point that the eyebrows just moved so smoothly, and I miss that for modern day uh movies where everything is CGI heavy because it's kind of somewhat cheaper, but at the same time it doesn't have that good long lasting legacy. Even if it looks like garbage, at least it looked real enough for you, you could touch it.
I'd say like one thing I never realized, what younger me didn't realize, also with The Crate, there's also like a secondary story within that where you have a husband who wants to desperately just off his wife because she is just
Oh yeah.
nagging him to no end. She always beats him down. Whatever. It's like, damn, this is a bit of a mean spirited story too.
And then like he finally gets his revenge
Yeah.
after a while, but like I think like in most EC comics and EC stories, I think it ends up like backfiring on him too. Fluffy goes after him as well, if I remember correctly, or did he's
He locks, like he locks the box up and then he dumps him down into like a river or something, or a lake, and the episode just ends with the crate being at the bottom and he just breaks it open, and that's it.
Holy shit. Okay, so I definitely need to go back and rewatch Creepshow. I kept thinking for some reason that there was a warehouse. Maybe I'm thinking of the second one again. Everything. What wasn't there one where they put like there was something in storage, and there was like this big old like warehouse with like all these boxes and everything, and they were meant to bury someone in it.
Uh, no.
I don't know if that could just be a totally different horror anthology.
Uh, so the only one that kind of involves burying someone is the third story, something that tied you over.
Yes. That's a good one. Leslie Nielsen kind of dropping the comedy for a little bit to be a serious actor.
Till the end.
Yeah, and everything that well, like again, that's when you kind of go back to like the comic book aspect of it, because like when you look at Father's Day and it cuts to just the one shots of like the kids freaking out, that what dad did to mom, and then they do the same thing in to tie you over and everything, where um both couples come back. You have like the zany art in the back, the colors and everything, and then Leslie Nielsen screaming, and you just can't help but kind of laugh at all of that, even though it's like this man's gonna die, but it's in the most comic book way possible.
I think all the stories in the movie are great. Arguably, the weakest one is the lonesome death of Jordy Verrill.
Yeah, yeah, and of course
With
Stephen
King.
King. Yeah, jolly
It's a
old
funny.
geezers. Yeah.
It was like meteor shit.
There's that, and then it's the ridiculously, for some reason, um evil doctor that sat there, and I think like he mentioned something about like a shot or maybe like an amputation, and like
Oh,
it is so
you were-
comic. Yeah,
yeah.
it was so done, and then Stephen King's like in the back just shaking.
This is extremely painful, Mr. Verrill.
Oh
He's
my
like,
god.
oh.
Do you know the behind the scenes story of Stephen King and his son Joe? Because his son Joe was in the
Yeah, the beginning and
the beginning
I don't know
end.
I don't know the whole story for that one.
You don't know the full where like they come home from work on set and everything, and his son wanted to keep like the makeup on, and so they go into the, I think it was like a McDonald's drive-through to go get him like a Blizzard or some type of ice cream, and it looks like, because he still has like the black eye, like something like bruised on his face, that the people legit thought that Steven was beating his kid, and he didn't realize it until afterwards, and it's like, son of a bitch. I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. People are gonna start thinking I beat my kid or something like that. It's like, yeah, it's stage makeup. I swear to God, like, it's all like, it gets to that point where it's all like, you little shit. I absolutely love that story, and I think that was, I think I heard that story through one of Stephen and Joe's like book tours, and Joe tells the story, and Steven's just kind of sitting here like, yeah, even at a young age he was being a little shit, almost getting me in trouble. Oh my god. We are gonna huh?
Didn't Tom Atkins say some shit about his son on set or something?
I believe so. But, because what it was like Tom was like so much of a nice guy. He could not imagine himself even in the acting of like not even hitting, like all he would hit was air, but he just could not for the life of him, I think, hit a kid and everything. And I think Steven made something that's all like, I'll give him a good one or something like that, or and like, and obviously like, Joe played along with it and everything, and I'm like over here, it's like, you know what, that is something like I love Tom Atkins, but to like know that, it was difficult for him. It's all like, this is Steven's son. This is practically the screenwriter's kid, and you're asking me to, that I have to be this hateful dad. And it's all like, dude, you read the script. You know what you're gonna do. It's like, what's coming up, but you just don't know that. Yeah, we casted the screenwriter's son to play this role. So like, really, do not hit him, or your career is over.
Yeah, Tom's a good dude.
Mm-hmm. I want to sit there and I want to see him. It seems like I think the only time he comes here to Texas is Texas Frightmare, I believe. I don't think he's...
Was here last
Was he here for the...
Starfest?
Maybe... Did I go to that one, or... I have no clue.
I don't think you did.
Did I not? Okay. I was about to say, if so, I was like, maybe... Was he only there for one day? Because usually
he was there for the weekend.
Oh, so for the okay, so then I didn't go to last year's then.
Because Tommy Lee Wallace was there too.
Oh, you know what? That's right. I was supposed to go there, but I didn't have a ride home and everything. But I went to the one that was in the fall. That was the one that I went to, which was the outdoor venue. Yeah. I think you were at that one, but I don't think we hung out at that time. Or I think you came in right when we were leaving. And yeah, because it was the pop-up show.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our schedules just didn't align, because I don't know if you were just coming off of work or...
I know I had to leave because I believe... Yeah, I think I had to work the haunt that day too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And everything. We are going to switch over, though, to our next wonderful film and everything. It's probably... You know what? I'm going to stand firmly here. I actually think it's the best Nightmare on Elm Street entry to begin with. Even better than the first one. Dream Warriors. Why?
Old statement.
I mean, like... There's a few...
I'm not just
like
bold statement.
Like, for one, I'm not a huge fan of the first one. Even though, yes, there is the Johnny Depp blood scene, which is freaking amazing. And that has a whole story in itself where it was so much blood that it actually got into the electrical circuits, and then they had to, like, shut power. That had some really good stories. It shocked someone else too, right?
Yeah, like the dude who was pouring, he actually got shot because it went just straight up.
Oh shit. Anyway, so there's
Yeah.
that. I like the seriousness in part 2, but I don't really watch part 2 all too much. That felt like the forgotten nightmare. Uh,
I don't like part two.
but like I feel like
I,
part 3 to me is like the best one out of the entire series. Um, and probably ranking right next to it, I would probably give Wes Craven's A New Nightmare like number 2 out of the entire series.
my top three nightmares is 1, 3, New Nightmare.
Okay, so we're somewhat on the same page here. So why did you pick Dream Warriors?
Without that movie, I would not be into guitar and music because of the title song Dream Warriors and the music video.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's the perfect blend of Freddy's humor and his, creepy dark shit.
Yeah. Uh, Dawkins did Dream Warriors, correct? That's right, and
Yep.
I think you ended up introducing me to some more Dawkins because we did one night where I forgot what game I was playing, but you were dropping like Dawkins tracks for me to check out, and I was playing. I was like, wow, okay, I think I can get into Dawkins now and everything. Like these are some pretty damn. It takes a lot for me to get into like quote unquote new music. Like it's not new, but to me it's new.
Dawkins is every song is somewhat of a love song.
So it's like shit. What the hell? It's a David Lee Roth White Snake. It's like White Snakes but louder.
Mm, man, that's like the only real downside when it comes to Dawkins. Like great songs, but every single one it's somewhat of a love song.
Okay. Uh, what was your favorite kills for Dream Warrior? Or also too, what was your favorite Dreamer of the Dream Warriors?
It has to be Will, the one in the wheelchair, because I've met him twice now, and he's such a dude. He is a cool ass dude. Because the second time I met him, it was at one of the pop up markets,
Mm-hmm.
and I pulled out the VHS that actually has a music video on there, and he was like, "Yes!" He got and then for the picture, I pulled out my glove that's signed by Robert, and he was like, "Yes!" He got all giddy to put it on for the picture. Like he is such a cool dude.
That's cool.
So yeah, he's one of my favorites. But favorite kill is the Sleepwalker kill.
Is that the one where he's controlling the dude with the marionette? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes.
That one got me as a kid, but just because of how they shot it, where you just see like the veins in his arms go up, and I was like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
and everything,
It
and
is such a kill.
and it's such a beautiful visual too when you get to the end of that kill where Freddy's like kind of like this Phantom of the Opera ish, and then he just cuts his hands. Yeah,
Just doing that. And,
yeah, like
uh,
it's beautiful artwork too, because I know that's probably like one of the few things I've seen a lot of people do artwork from Dream Warriors on.
mm-hmm. Then of course there's the Welcome to Primetime bitch kill.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite out of that entire film. Well, also too that and like I guess Will's death as well, where he's just running at he's the only dude bold enough to just run at Freddy instead of run away. And like
I think his overall death is kind of lackluster, but
yeah.
him, just going over and just like, F you, I'm good, yeah, that part's cool. You essentially are Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's like it's Harry Potter fighting Freddy and everything. I think before he even fought Freddy, he had to fight his wheelchair, and like even that was super decked out. That was a pretty damn cool wheelchair, folks, and everything. And then the moment he just charges at him, and I was like, "You're a wizard, not a barbarian, kid. Back the fuck up." This is why wizards are in the back for D&D and everything because they're squishy.
Also, you could play a drinking game with that movie. Take a shot every time Freddy's voice changes.
Changes as in like the pitch.
Yeah, like sometimes you'll hear Robert's voice. Sometimes you'll hear like a weird deep voice. He might kind of go. It changes throughout the entire movie.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that one then just to find that one.
Like the and it's his voice changes like 10 times.
Huh. I wonder why they did that. I was wondering then maybe if they didn't have Robert on set all the time, or for certain days, and maybe if they needed to do reshoots.
I don't know. It's like for Will's scene when you first see Freddy, he has like a very deep, normal, well, not normal sounding, but just a low baritone voice.
Mm-hmm.
But then kind of raises and it gets more raspy.
Huh. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go. Like, when you get so like caught up in the visuals, you kind of do miss some of those like those sound cues and everything. I did not even know that. Um, before we move on to our next one and everything, I have to ask you: did you think it was too soon for them to kill Nancy in this movie, or do you think that Nancy maybe could have had at least like an extra sequel in her?
I don't I don't mind her dying in that movie. I kind of just wish they did it a little bit better
Yeah.
because the way Rob is kind of like, mm,
Because like I like that like I remember Dream Child, I'm pretty sure, was my gateway into Freddy, because I don't really remember ever watching probably the first one yet, but it was one of the sequels where you had all the kids, like the one that she was the street girl and she had like all the needles. For one, I was afraid of needles as a kid, so she kind of
that's third movie.
that's what.
That's Tara from the third movie.
Yeah. And I want to sit there say
Was fun.
I think I ran into her before at a pop-up market or something, or a Frightmare. But
She was at the Valentine one.
which one?
She was at the Valentine pop-up market,
Okay, that one I did go to.
and she recognized me too because I had just met her at Frightmare like a couple months before that.
See, that's even great too. It's like these actors, they do remember their fans, and so when they see, they're like, "Oh my god, I know you!" And yeah.
I knew, but like I went up to her and she looked like I've met you before. Like I know you. Like yeah,
Especially if you do like a lasting impression, you're like, I know who this guy is and everything. But I liked her character design and like her dreams. And then it kind of sucked like how she died, because she was like, her character was a drug addict, and Freddy's like just makes her overdose on whatever Freddy pumped
yeah.
her with. And I'm like, man, that was rubbing it like nose into the dirt.
The fact that there was more to that kill, but they had to cut it out because it's too gruesome.
Really?
Yeah, like it goes because you see it. You see her veins, her head kind of bulge. I think at some point her head is supposed to explode.
Oh shit.
Yeah, or something along those lines. So yeah, they had to cut it a little bit.
I mean, that's probably gotta be one of the few then that I don't mind them cutting. And I mean, like, yeah, it would
Yeah,
have been. How many times do you actually see a woman's head explode in a horror film, especially in the '80s? It's mostly always men. You know, it's not really always. Yeah, I can't think of a film where a woman's head's exploded. Maybe like in a zombie film, but like, you don't probably like really click
I
to
think the
that.
closest. I think the closest one maybe I have to rewatch again is Chopping Mall.
Oh, you know what? That's right, because okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I think she was the quote unquote like first one of the teens to get killed and everything, because she was escaping them.
I think she just straight up gets blown up, not just her head.
Yeah. So
I might
okay,
be. I don't.
that's
Yeah,
probably a first right there for like the '80s. His first woman blow up scene, and then years later we see it again, Slither, but like in a far more gruesome, a gruesome scene. But I I I kind of really wish that they kept Nancy on a little bit longer. Maybe she was smart enough to see through Freddy like his illusion to try to kill her. Because I like the idea that they're all like, well, we got to find his remains and then like bury them, and then of course like they burn his remains because he's afraid of fire, or supposed to be. It
I,
it depends on the sequel.
I think if he's out of the dream world, then yeah. Well, he wasn't afraid of fire when he was in the real world during part two, so I don't know.
That's right, because yeah, he set the whole pool party on fire, and he was
He's,
like, "You're all my children now," and
I don't know, but yeah, part three. That's my favorite.
yeah, I think it's the easy gateway into the entire franchise. Is yeah, like you're 2 entries in, but it's like you can always go back and watch the first one, and it doesn't really feel like you're getting spoiled by anything. It's more the all right, this is Nancy's origin. There you go, and I kind of really wish that maybe she was in one more.
I think they really could if they wanted to.
Yeah, because like there were some lead women in those franchises, or just some lead people to begin with. They've had like a better character development. Like Tommy Jarvis, I think is probably out of any horror film probably the one protagonist that has the best character development, even though it wavers when you really watch it.
Yeah.
Like in theory, it's like yeah, no, he had this great arc, but when you watch it, and it's like yeah, but they forgot that part in the last one. So what happened?
Yeah, it's funny how Jarvis in part 5 he knows martial arts, and then part 6 he does not.
Yeah, and but like what is it like Kirsty I think is probably the second one right next to probably Laurie Strode, that's probably got some character, even though she dies off screen, but they did the same thing with Laurie in essentially what's going to be our final film, Halloween 4 the Return of Michael Myers.
Hmm.
So hey, that's a great segue. Holy shit, I'm actually getting good at this, folks. Why didn't you pick that one?
Halloween, my third Halloween 4. This is another one where it kind of goes back to being young and seeing it on TV, because this was my introduction to Halloween.
Mhm.
And it was during October. It was on AMC with their horror movie marathon.
Mhm.
And I just caught it, and yeah, I was like, I love this movie.
Do you think that
I don't say I love the mask. I love how cheap and blank it looks. It's creepy as shit. Yeah, the shoulder pads are kind of dumb, but I don't fucking care.
do you think that maybe the reason why you connect so well with this film was because essentially the protagonist was a child? Like,
I never thought about that, but yeah, because I think she was like I think she's like between 9 and 10. I was around that age,
mhm.
so I was like, so yeah, it's like, there's someone I can personally root for.
Yeah, it's all like, ah, shit, don't die. Especially in part 5 with the whole, when she's in the chute, the laundry chute,
Yeah,
like,
that whole scene. There are so many violations of that scene. It's nuts. Because that was a real knife he was using. She
yeah,
actually did get stabbed in the leg, so that is her actual blood you see.
really. Oh my lord.
Yes, that is her actual wound on her leg.
Oh fucking lord. And everything. Like I remember as a kid and still as an adult, I get anxiety when I see that scene because of how close those shots were made. And I didn't know that was a real knife. I just sat there and thought that like it was pre-cut and they just did the makeup, really well so that it looked like it. But
that is Dawn stabbing through the fucking chute.
oh fucking hell. And they're still best friends and everything. Like she's had so much fun working with Don Shanks and everything.
Yep.
Don Shanks a shoot and ends up cutting essentially like his film daughter and everything. But
Shit happened in 5.
yeah, that happened in 5. Going back to 4, 4 is where we understand that Laurie had a child. She somehow mysteriously dies off screen because
And they said
they just what?
I think it was a car wreck.
There was a car wreck. It's always because you know what they did that to Kirsty. They did that in Kirsty in one of the Hellraiser sequels where they explain whatever happened to Kirsty and she died in a car accident. Yeah.
Only heard a later movie.
Yeah. I mean I tried to go as far as watch like the Eighth Hellraiser film, which I think was Hell World, and I was like I should have stopped after 3. I should have stopped after that one.
I stopped at 3.
Yeah, like 3 was the last good one and everything, but 4 you have Don Shanks. Yeah, you have a bit of a questionable Michael look, but like, huh?
George Wilbur, you mean?
Was it George Wilbur?
Yeah, George P. Wilbur.
Okay, so then Don was only in 5 then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a couple scenes that Tom Morga does, who was Roy / imposter Jason part 5. He's I believe he's bandaged Michael during the gas station scene, and he is also Michael when he puts on his mask at the drugstore.
That's like really interesting with how like they have so many stuntmen just for like what you would figure it would be the entire like no, just put the whole stunt dude in there, just wrap his face up like Michael and everything. Like overall, like did you get as much hype towards the end of this film for part 5 as I did? Like, did you sit there and think like that was probably the best way to end a Halloween movie?
Yeah, like that was such a crazy cliffhanger, and then part 5 just
Do you think that maybe if they give it one more year, a little bit longer on the writing table, it could have been better?
give it a year.
Huh?
It was not an entire year when they started to do part 5.
Yeah, because like they shot it what back to back.
Yeah, like H4 premiere made a fuck ton of money. Like, all right, we're gonna immediately make part 5, and good God, they did terrible.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot, and then they had to wait until I want to say it was 94, 95 for Curse.
96.
Really? Was it that late?
Yep.
Because I know H2O was 98 or 90. Yeah, 98.
Yeah, there was. I think it was 96.
Jesus Christ and everything. Like, well, then hell, they didn't wait too damn long to just reboot the entire fucking franchise.
But
Overall, like, how would you rate? I guess excluding the Rob Zombie one, what would you rate the Halloween franchise in its own?
oh man, part 1's great. Part 2's great. Part 3's great. Part 4's great. 5, nah. I have a soft spot for 6, but only the producer's cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the story is dumb and messed up, but the movie flows a whole lot better than the theatrical cut.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the color grade of part 6 and the music as well. I'm not the biggest fan of H2O because it has the least Halloween autumn vibe.
Yeah. Well, like this time they had no excuse not to sit there and dress up LA like or San Diego like Halloween and everything because it's all like we don't have to dress up like Illinois no more. It's a whole brand new location.
I also have a soft spot for Resurrection. I know that movie is dumb.
I was about to
It's
say
dumb.
that's the one with what?
With the cameras, the live feeding, going to the
Oh
house.
yeah. That's the one though with Busta Rhymes saying "trick or treat, motherfucker." Yeah, and then
Yeah.
somehow he knows kung fu too.
No, I like how they're back at the Myers house. I kind of like how he's no longer going after family. He's just literally doing his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I give the overall franchise a 7.5, maybe an 8.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Out of 10, hopefully, not 20.
Yeah, out of 10.
Okay. I was about to say, I was like, otherwise, like, goddamn, that's a poor ass rating and everything. But yeah, like, I would sit there and say, like, the Halloween franchise I don't think has deteriorated nearly as bad as some of the other ones. Like, I think Friday is the shortest one of them all, but even Friday knew, like, when
Well,
because there was only 7. There was only 7, films and everything, because I think 6 was Freddy's Dead, and then they did New Nightmare.
yeah. Well, Friday. If you count all the Friday movies, there's 12.
Yeah, there's Friday. I kind of feel like those films kind of fell off once Jason took Manhattan. I think that's probably like when it kind of almost felt like, this franchise is kind of it blew the tank. I do like Jason Goes to Hell, but I think I like the story more of the behind the scenes of Jason Goes to Hell, like how the bounty hunter Dukes had like this whole storyline that was just axed, and how like the young man that helps Jason's is it his niece or cousin?
His sister.
Are you serious?
Jason has a sister somehow who has a daughter who has a kid.
Oh my
But
god!
Think about the entire timeline for that movie. Jason's sister should be way fucking older than she is in
I
that
was
movie.
I was about to say, yeah, because you're probably looking at what, like 10 to 15 maybe years in between the first one to that one.
Can't forget about the time gaps between 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, because you have kid Tommy and then you have teenage Tommy and then I don't know. I guess you could sit there and look at like I think it's 5 and 6 is maybe they're like 2 to 3 years apart
Mm.
and everything. Um See, folks, when you start analyzing these film franchises, you really start realizing the timelines don't make any fucking sense. Like this is where like you're just like, all right, just tap out. Don't even worry about it trying to make sense because you're not gonna fucking, you know,
You're
yeah, and everything. But like, apparently, the boy that was supposed to be with Jason's sister and everything, that was supposed to be Tommy Jarvis as well, but they didn't own the rights to that. Which to me, that would have made it probably maybe a little bit better. Of like, oh hey, you brought Tommy Jarvis back and everything, but you know,
Duke Jarvis.
what?
Duke definitely should have been Jarvis.
Yeah,
It would make more sense with all the knowledge he had.
yeah, like they could have easily had it as something of where were you trained, and it's all like, well, I was trained by the one motherfucker that, you know, killed the guy 3 damn times and he still came back, and you know, it would at least sat there and made sense of at least tying Jarvis to him. Uh,
Mm.
but yeah, no, it's franchise timelines, they're fucking ridiculous, folks. I don't know really what to tell you. We are going to wrap up this very, very short episode of the Community Curation podcast. We're getting you guys ready for Halloween. We're getting you guys ready and everything. Hopefully we'll sit there and see a Houston Horror Film Festival. Hopefully I get to sit there and hang out with Cody because it's been well over a year, I believe.
If I do go, I should be in my Ghostface costume. Since
Okay.
Rose McGowan's going to be.
Which movie was Rose McGowan? Was she in the first one?
Yeah, she plays Tatum.
Is she the one that gets stuck in the doggy door? Oh, okay. So see, I've always seen in Scary Movie the parody of that one where it's like, so every time I see a doggy door, I think it's Scary Movie. Oh my god! And then I think she got through it, and I think he chases her into like this maze, and she just dies from bees and everything. And but yeah, okay. So yeah, I did not know that Rose McGowan was in Scream 2. Holy shit! That's been a lifetime ago and everything. Thank you, Cody, for the brief. This definitely felt like more of a brief 80s episode, 80s horror episode. I would sit there and say and everything. Where can the people find you on the socials?
I guess my main one would be my Instagram, which is 6Cody6Dowell6.
There we go, folks. You can find me at. Oh, sorry.
That's where I post all my horror shit mainly.
Okay. And everything. You can find me as theGothicStoryteller on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we will catch you guys all later. Bye-bye.
Laters.